All right, welcome. How is everyone today? I'm your host today, Richie T, also known as Richard T. You guys know me by now. How are you all doing? Today, we're going to be testing out the London Mulligan rule in a little different way than we have been recently. We've been playing kind of fairish decks. Panza, even a little bit more fair than this. But today, I felt like really trying the limits of the London Mulligan rule with a deck that tries to play things that will hopefully let our opponent not play the game anymore past turn 1. So we're trying out the new deck that's Rakdos Prison. You guys have probably seen the mono red one around in Modern and Legacy, but this version's been popping out lately, has had a couple GP Day 2s, as well as some 5-0s, so I figured we should try it out. The land base is pretty straightforward. 9 swamps because of your blood moons, 3 mountains, 2 grave cairns so you can filter your mountains into double black for things like Liliana, 4 bloodstained mires, and 4 blood crypts. Typically the deck plays a Temple of Malice, but I actually watched Jeff Hoogland play this deck recently, and the Temple just seemed awful. So I ended up cutting it for a Blood Crypt. I could see the Blood Crypt being maybe another Graving Cairns, or even a Gemstone Caverns, which is what I think I probably would have made it if I would have thought about it before going live. On top of that, we have our 4 Simian Spirit Guides for ramp. That's our way we can try to play some things on turn 1. Now, what are the things we want to try to play on turn 1? Of course, there's Chalice of the Void. This card is stone cold nuts in Modern right now. It stops a lot of the best decks between Phoenix, Grixis, Death Shadow, a lot of removal and cantrips out of decks like Blue-White Control and whatnot, as well as many other degenerate decks that may be popping up from the London Mulligan. So, 4 Chalice. On top of that, we have 4 Blood Moons to try to get those greedy mana bases, or if we can just play it turn 1 or 2, if our opponents don't have a chance to fetch out their basics, it's going to be hard for them to win the game through Blood Moon. On top of that, we have a Magus of the Moon, which is a Blood Moon but on a body, so it can kind of help us win the game, but it can also die to things like Lightning Bolt, or if our opponent draws like a Path or Fatal Push and has their basic. So Magus is a little bit weaker than Blood Moon, but we have a one-of just to try to have a consistency of having Blood Moon. And then we have 4 Ensnaring Bridges. Once our hand gets really low, it's going to be hard for decks to kill us through an Ensnaring Bridge unless they can remove it. So it is one of the best lock pieces available in Modern. Moving on past our lock pieces, we also have some removal to try to deal with creatures or our opponent's hand a little bit. We can't play 1-drops due to Chalice of the Void. That's why you don't see anything like... Someone mentioned Surgical Extraction to me. You can't really play Surgical on a deck like this because of Chalice of the Void. Same thing goes with like Inquisition Thoughtseize. So that's why you see 4 Collective Brutalities. It's also just great against Burn, as you can use all 3 modes. And it's kind of like a 3-for-1 against them. Because while you use 3 cards, you're likely killing a creature, draining, which is equal to about a burn spell, and also taking a card from their hand. So it evens out. We have a 1-of-a Braid for artifact decks, but also just an extra piece of removal. 2 Anger of the Gods for like those Phoenixes that might get on the board, or any of the smaller creature decks. I could maybe see going up to a 3rd Anger somewhere in the 75, but I wasn't 100% sure where to cut, especially when I wanted to fit in this Damnation in the sideboard that was recommended. 2 Kolaghan's Command, which there's typically a 3rd in the board, but it got cut for the Damnation. Great against the artifact decks, great against the grindy decks, being able to 2-for-1 them. And then we have 3 Bedevils, which can kill any artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Now, it is a little tough on our mana base for double black. That's why you'll see us going for 2 swamps early, and hopefully we'll have those 2 swamps if we ever play a Blood Moon. And then we have 3 Liliana of the Veil, which apparently doesn't get art on Magic Online today. She is a removal spell with her Edict effect. Her plus is very powerful in a deck like this, where we have Ensnaring Bridge that we want a lower hand size. And her ultimate is a pseudo win the game, even though it doesn't actually win the game. These 6 cards, however, are the ways that we're going to actually win the game. We have 3 Chandra Torch of Defiance, which is apparently just a spooky haircut today. She starts at 4 loyalty, and her plus is essentially you drawing a card, but you put it into exile and you have to cast it. Or if you don't, it does 2 damage to your opponent, so that can help us win games. We have a Liliana the Last Hope, which can buy back our 2 creatures or a Simian Spirit Guide that might get discarded. You'll see the -2 come up on these 2 creatures mostly, which we'll get to in a second. But her +1 is like a small removal spell, while her ultimate is just a huge way to win the game if we can get rid of our own bridge, or if we just don't have a bridge. We have a Hazoret, which can win really fast, as anyone remembers from Standard, but can also just be a discard outlet for our bridge, as well as a win con through our bridge by just continuously pitching cards to it. And then we have this spicy little number that I was really excited to see in the deck, and I can't wait to try. Hopefully we get a Master of Cruelties kill and someone can clip it for me. Master of Cruelties is a 5-mana 1/4 with First Strike and Death Touch, but he can only attack alone. You're probably wondering why that's good. 1 point of damage each turn. It's not going to add up. Well, he has an ability that if he attacks and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1, and he assigns no combat damage. So essentially, however much your life total -1 is how much Master of Cruelties hits for if he gets through. And with a Chandra, it's an instant kill. So I used to play Master of Cruelties in EDH in my Kalia deck, and I'm really excited to get to play this card in Modern and see how it works. Moving on to the sideboard, I have it put in hate cards, extra creatures, and then our board wipe. Someone really recommended it. A couple people really recommended playing a Damnation in my sideboard, so I listened to them. We're going to give it a try. We'll see how it works with the mana base. I think it should be fine, but if it seems kind of hard to cast, I could always see this being an anger. We have 4 Goblin Rabble-Masters for those games that we need to close out faster than our main deck allows us. Rabble-Master is a really quick kill and can just apply a lot of pressure. We also have 2 Stormbreath Dragons for the same reason against the white decks. Not being able to be pathed is huge, and when you monstrous him, he typically hits for about 10, counting the monstrous damage, which can swing a game very quickly. We have 4 Leyline of the Voids as hate for the graveyard decks. With the London Mulligan, it's probably one of the best graveyard hates you can play, as well as it also just works well with our deck because we can't play Surgical or many of the other ones because they're 1 mana. 2 Crumble the Dust for the big mana decks to go on top of our Blood Moons. It's just an OTK against most Tron and Valakut decks, as most people will know. As well as Slaughter Games for something along those lines. While we can't name the lands out of those decks, we can name something like Karn or Scapeshift or Primeval Titan. And it also helps against like Storm. We could name, if they don't bring in Empty the Warrens, we can always name Grape Shot, or we can name Past in Flames. We can name Arclight Phoenix out of Phoenix. And it can just really help us clear up a lot of troublesome cards. So that's the deck. Pretty straightforward for the most part. I'm excited to give it a try. But before we give it a try, let's hop over here and check out our sponsor for the stream, momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com. It's the one-stop shop for anything you might be needing. Right now, our top sellers are actually kind of Pauper-related. We have Swamps, which, as most people know, are very popular in Pauper. Persistent Petitioners, which is actually a really spicy Pauper deck I've been seeing running around lately. Islands, because you can't go without your islands in Pauper. And Skewer the Critics for all you burn addicts like me for Pauper. On top of that, I'm sure we have anything else that you're interested in. Feel free to check out the store. There's plenty of cards with great deals. On top of that, if you're watching from YouTube, thank you. Also, check down low in that description box for all these links I'm about to talk to you about, especially to our Twitch stream so you can watch and interact with us live. As well as follow us, like us on Facebook. This goes for you guys on Twitch too. Like us on Facebook. Tweet at us at momsbasementmtg. As well as, for all you guys watching on Twitch right now, thank you again. But also, check out our older content on YouTube. We got the best legacy, modern, standard, even vintage content on there. We have it all. Check us out. We'd highly appreciate it. On top of that, I would really appreciate if you checked me out on Twitter. My Twitter's at RichardTMTG. I tweet about Magic, League of Legends, my life. I'm also down to just talk about what anybody else wants to. As you can see, Mike did a pack opening earlier, and you can watch Medic do that. As well as some other things from like accomplishments of my own, the decks I'm always playing, and some really sweet tweets that Josh Warren got tweeted out from Cat Light at Us. Thank you again, Kat, if you're watching. Thank you for coming in, Nate. Always appreciate it. So, with all that being said, what do you guys say we get to the games and we try to lock our opponents out? I know how much you enjoy locking people out of games, Nate. Typically, you prefer about 2 less colors than we're playing today, though. Alright, we're in the queue. How was everybody's weekend? How was everyone's Easter? Happy late Easter to everyone. I enjoyed a day with my family. We had dinner, then I ended up going over to my dad's and having another dinner there. And just seeing all of my nieces, nephews, aunts, and uncles. It was a good time. Food was good as always. But I did miss playing Magic. I typically don't play a lot of Magic unless on the weekends unless I go out on trips or if I just have some friends over. But I've been thinking about actually getting back into Commander. I've had a couple friends asking me. I'm thinking about building. We typically play closer to competitive EDH than anything. And I'm thinking about building Brago stacks again. I really enjoyed that deck before, even though it's like... It's never fun for anyone as a stacks game go on. But who doesn't love a good stacks from time to time? I know you enjoy a good stacks, Nate. You're Karn... Oh gosh, I gotta remember his name. Karn Silver Golem is the original Karn? That's the one that you can play as your commander? I don't think Stasis is modern legal, unfortunately. If Stasis was modern legal, I would definitely try to find a way to play it. That probably wouldn't work, but I love that card. Stasis is actually one of my favorite cards in Magic. Yeah, works really well with Brago and any mana rocks. That deck gets silly. Man, Q's taking a hot minute today. Nobody wants to get prisoned out. I guess it is the day... Yeah, it's the day before the Mythic Championship, so not a lot of people testing. They had to lock in their decks, but we managed to find someone. Let's get it on. Alrighty, we found ourselves someone. They won the die roll, unfortunately. This deck would really enjoy being on the die roll. Our opponent's trying to decide if they want to be on the play or not. If they decide not to, I assume they're playing 8-rack, which should be pretty good for us if we play a Chalice on one. Greg Mo 8. Greg Mate, maybe? Alrighty. Our first hand, not so great. I think we can do better, especially with the London Mulligan. Our turn 1 plays Brutality, but then we don't have any lands for these 3-drops. So I'm pretty inclined to just ship this one back. I wonder why chat's being so slow today. He chose the Kep as 7. I'm going to choose the Mulligan. This hand looks a lot better. We have a turn 1 Chalice. And then we have lands to cast Ensnaring Bridge and Blood Moon. Or we could maybe, if it's not a deck that Chalice is good against, we can always hold. We're going to keep... We actually have to send a card back. What do you guys think we send back? I'm kind of thinking maybe a Swamp, but we really want our black mana, so I could see sending Ensnaring Bridge or Blood Moon back. I think it's between one of those two. Or one of those 3, I guess. Swamp, Ensnaring Bridge, or Blood Moon. I think it'd probably be Blood Moon over Ensnaring Bridge. But I'm kind of leaning towards the Swamp because we just need to draw any other land for any of these 3 cards. I'm going to give it a second. I know chat's a little slow, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it like probably about another 10 seconds, I'd say. Really, really strange. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and send a Swamp to the bottom. Let me know if you guys think that was correct or not. Sorry that you guys are all behind. Did connecting to the Wi-Fi help it by chance, Nate? Yeah, I agree. I think the swamp was correct. Even though we really want double swamp for like our Lilianas, we have time to draw into another land. Our opponent's thinking pretty hard about their turn 1 play. To be fair, I thought pretty hard about what card to put on bottom, so they have their time to think. Oh, did you just like kind of predict what I was gonna ask that? I mean, yeah, if you can predict what I'm gonna say, that'd make interacting with chat very awesome. Maybe our opponent like spilt something on their keyboard, or maybe they had to let their dog out, or their pizza rolls came out of the oven. Appears we're facing humans. So Chalice on 1, not as great in this matchup. Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridge, however, are very powerful, especially game 1. So I think I'm going to hold on to this Simian Spirit Guide, and I'm just going to pass the turn right now. And then next turn, I'm going to use the Simian Spirit Guide to either play Blood Moon or Ensnaring Bridge, whichever seems more powerful. We drew a Chandra, not a land, which is kind of unfortunate. We are playing how many lands? We're playing 22, so we're playing a decent number. Yep, our opponent goes Mantis Rider. They have Basic Island, which makes Blood Moon kind of awkward. We take 4. Let's see. If we play Ensnaring Bridge, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 in hand still. Another Chandra. That's a yikes. So, none of these plays actually seem that great right now. I'm trying to decide what's probably best. I'm leaning towards Blood Moon because Ensnaring Bridge doesn't stop anything. And Blood Moon can at least stop our opponent from playing a card like Kite Sail Freebooter. We really want to draw land next turn. Even though if I draw land next turn, I might just play Chalice over Ensnaring Bridge. Because we don't have any 1-drops we can draw. And okay, that's a Thalia. So we really need to draw land next turn now. Land. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to just play Chalice on 1. Because we don't have any other play we need. And hopefully we draw another land to play this Ensnaring Bridge. And then start locking them out of attacking with all of their creatures. I agree it's not great with Noble. But if we draw Runner on lands, we can shut them out of the Noble and attacking. But we're just trying our best here. Noble Hierarch definitely throws a problem into things. Anger of the Gods with a land would also be good. There's that land we were talking about, so we get to play this Ensnaring Bridge and stop the Mantis Rider from attacking. We are going to 3, though, so we really need a land to either kill this Noble Hierarch. Yeah, we need a land to kill this Noble Hierarch, or we need an Anger of the Gods here. Yep. Trigger my Chalice of the Void. Good Aether Vial. Alright, come on, land or Anger of the Gods. Land or Anger, please. Those are our 2 outs here. Land or Anger 1 time. Meddling Mage. Are they stream sniping us? Are you stream sniping, opponent? Opponent is not stream sniping, and I thank them. Whew, and we're rewarded. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. We're going to go ahead and kill that and pass to our opponent now. They can no longer attack us. All right, I feel like we've managed to stabilize. I need to pop out the... I think that's Exile. No, that's not. I need to pop out the Exiles. Play my land for turn. We're going to tick up Chandra, see what we hit. Thank you for the Prime sub. Super appreciate it. Who are you, out of curiosity, Rebel Scum? Okay. Yeah, they were great games, man. Thank you again. I super appreciate that. Thinking about if we play this bridge. I think we're going to go ahead and play it. We don't really need to play this Chandra, and I'd rather have a backup bridge in case they have something like main deck Knight of Autumn. Yeah, I actually played Esper again on Wednesday, and I went 3-1, only losing to some close games against Mono Red Prison where he had to top deck right, and I got mana screwed, but they were still good games, and he was a great opponent. So, I can't be mad about that. We're going to go ahead and pass the turn back. So, we're slowly tightening the proverbial noose, as Jeff Hoogland likes to call it, around our humans player's neck. We have 2 bridges in play. We keep drawing lands, which is pretty good, especially that second swamp. So we can go ahead and plus Chandra, see what we hit here. How's chat for you, by the way, Rebel Scum? Is it kind of behind for you, too? We appear to have hit a land. Let's actually tap better than this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go ahead and play another Chandra. We will choose to keep this one. And I'm actually going to minus on this Meddling Mage in case we draw Anger of the Gods. Because I feel like we have this game pretty locked. But an Anger would definitely just, like, help save us a little bit more. And with that, we're going to just ship the turn. Alright, our human's opponent doesn't seem to be doing much as expected. This time I'm going to go ahead and plus Chandra first. We have enough mana for pretty much everything. And no matter what, I'll be able to play this mountain. I might even want to discard it to a brutality if that's what we draw. We drew in a braid, which I actually don't want to cast because there's nothing I can kill that will really help me. I'd rather just get the damage in, play our land, and then pass it back. So if anyone in chat wants to ask me any questions, feel free. I'm just chilling here right now while I slowly kill our human's opponent. Same thing, we're going to go ahead and start by plussing Chandra. We hit a land. We're going to want to cast this Bedevil, though. And I think we're going to do it on the Thalia. Just so that way our mana gets a little less tight. And then we'll pass it back. Just 7 more turns of this, guys. It's great. Phantasmal Image. Probably copying Militia Bugler. Trying to dig a little deeper is my guess. Maybe they do have some answers in their deck then if they're playing this Phantasmal out. But they're actually shut off of white and green mana right now. They only have access to blue mana. So maybe that's what they're thinking about. They still go for Bugler, sure. They get a Kite Sail Freebooter, which I'm not scared of because they currently have no way to cast that in their whole entire deck. We're going to tick up our Chandra again. A Magus of the Moon. I'm actually not going to cast that one either. I think the 1 Blood Moon is fine. And I don't want to have a creature for them to Reflector Mage if they draw planes, because that could potentially let them kill me. I didn't abrade Thalia because I felt like the 2 damage was more important. Like, if they find a way to deal with either of our bridges or our Blood Moon, we're probably going to lose anyways. So, I wanted to cast the Bedevil because it was in our hand, and I don't want cards in our hand for Ensnaring Bridge. But I'd rather get the 2 damage and kill them faster to give them less outs. That's the reason why we didn't abrade the Thalia. What do you guys think of that play? Do you think it was correct? Okay, another Ensnaring Bridge is always nice. It's actually the same thing as casting this, except we also get to kill the Phantasmal Image if we choose 2 modes. So I'm going to go neg 2, and drain. And I'm just going to choose to discard this Ensnaring Bridge because it doesn't actually do that much to have a 3rd Ensnaring Bridge, to where killing the Phantasmal Image might. Plus this gains us 2 life here, which is relevant. Alright, ship it back to our opponent friend here. Just 5 more turns, opponent, and then it'll be over. Unless you feel like conceding, in which case it can be over anytime you want. I assume he has some kind of out in his deck for him to keep playing. Or not. He was just trying to see more, maybe. Alright, so as usual, we're going to go with the full side in and decide what's not that great. I actually don't think Chalice is that good in this matchup. They have Cavern of Souls and many things that make it not that great. Leyline of the Void, obviously not that great. Neither is Crumble to Dust. Neither is Slaughter Game, since they're a fair deck. I don't like Goblin Rabble Masters either, so I think we actually have to bring back in a Chalice of the Void at least. Magus of the Moon is awkward, but I think it's better than Chalice. I think we want all of our removal in our deck. So I actually think this is probably how I'm going to sideboard here. Yeah, I agree. I think Drain is definitely better. But I also think just getting that the Phantasmal Image off the board doesn't hurt. What do you guys think about this for our sideboard? We have to leave in 1 Chalice, which is kind of meh. I could even see actually cutting the Master of Cruelties, because this can't be Reflector Mage, but this can, and it's still kind of awkward. So I could even buy doing something like this, as sad as I am to take out the Master of Cruelties, since he's like one of the main reasons why I want to play the deck. But I think it's better to do the correct thing. Probably the same thing goes with Hazoret. We probably just actually want to board out most of our creatures. We still have like Chandra, Storm Breaths to win the game, and Lily the Last Hope. So I think we should still have enough win cons. Maybe Hazoret's still worth it, but if they can bounce up to 2 cards in hand, we could take a lot of damage. What do you guys think? Nate, Rebel Scum, anyone else that happens to be in chat right now? Feel free to give me your thoughts before this little timer over here runs out. We're at 53 seconds right now. What do you guys think? Yeah, I agree. I think less creatures the better. Hazoret's a consideration since it's a win con through bridge, but I think we're just more important. We just care more about locking our opponent out than we do. Like, we'll eventually win the game. So I don't think we have to super worry about that. Even if we ult a Lily, we can always hold 1 card in hand and then attack on our next turn when we have enough to kill them. We don't have to always go down to 2 with Lily because they're tokens, so they wouldn't get bounced to our hand. So yeah, we're going to try this. All right. Our opponent, I will assume, chooses to go first. I assume the London Mulligan rule doesn't particularly help out humans that much. Also, the way we sideboarded, I could see wanting something else for creatures. What do you guys think of this hand? I'm kind of on the fence about it. We have removal, Chandra, but we don't have any prison pieces. I'm going to give us about a minute to think about this hand and see if anybody comments before I decide whether or not to ship it. I'm very in between on this one. I could see it working out. I could also see it being a colossal fail. We do have answers for most of their turn 1 plays, though, with Brutality or K-Command. I think I've actually kind of talked myself into this hand. I don't know why there's such a long delay. I'll have Josh and Steve check it out. You think I was supposed to mull? Unfortunately, I already kept. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. They did mulligan, so. Champion on 1. So, another brutality. Drawing the other brutality, I think, definitely makes me want to just pitch a Spirit Guide and use this as a removal spell only, because I want every card in my hand. So that actually really helped out our curve because we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pass now. We'll probably just fetch a Swamp with this Bloodstained Mire, since we have double red with this. We have double black, but not through Blood Moon. Athalia. I can't Brutality that right now. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Speak of the Blood Moon and it shall arrive. Alright, so we're just going to play Bloodstained Mire and pass. We do have to Brutality the Thalia before we can play the Blood Moon, which is fine. The Blood Moon should lock our opponent out for the most part. Mold a Bridge isn't bad, but they have like Night of Autumns in their sideboard post-board. So Bridge isn't just like the stone cold nut against them post-board. It's good, but it's not like, oh, they can never win through it. They're putting a lot of pressure on here. They're going to hit me for 3, but then I'm going to get to Brutality away the Thalia. And depending on what we draw, we may end up... Alright, we drew another land. I think I'm actually cool. Well, I want that land for Chandra, but it actually doesn't cast Chandra through the Blood Moon. So, I think... we're going to just Brutality... I think we're going to just neg 2. Because next turn, we might not play the Blood Moon next turn, honestly. Unless we draw a way to cast Chandra the turn after. And we're not worried about dying, because we're taking 4 right now. Which, 4, 8, 12, 16 is a... We have 3 turns before we die. So I might have to just Chandra minus on the Champion of Parish. And then probably Kolaghan's Command this on a later turn. Okay. I'm interested to see what they take here with the Kite Sail. I think if I were them, I would probably take the Chandra or the Kolaghan's Command. Blood Moon obviously stinks for them, and they have to win with what's on the battlefield. But I think they could maybe do it. To where I think just like... Actually, I think 100% the take is Kolaghan's Command. Because if they take K-Command, I have to Chandra minus the Kite Sail Freebooter to get it back. So they don't go for that line, which is fine. Okay, they had a Noble. They might just be able to beat us down in time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're actually dead next turn now, unless we draw something good like Damnation. But Devil's not awful. 3, 4. So we're gonna filter into this. I'm gonna just pass, actually. Try to get their attack out of them. This is kind of the reason why I don't think Chalice is good, but I don't think anything in our sideboard is better. If they draw like a Lieutenant or something, we might just be dead anyways. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We wouldn't be dead, but we'd be in a bad spot. Okay, that's annoying, but fine. We're going to 3 here. Still have the out of like ripping Damnation off the top. Go ahead and bedevil that. Take 5 down to 3. I actually think playing that Thalia was actually unneeded by them. And we drew Stormbreath Dragon, which I don't think gives us an out. Okay, command this. We don't have mana. Yep, we're dead. Unfortunate. They were able to get under everything. That was kind of a sketchy hand for if they did something exactly like they did. But I think the keep was fine. We had a lot of removal. What do you guys think about sideboard? We don't have enough. We don't have enough to kill their 4/4. So no matter what, we're just dead. K-Command doesn't have a good enough mode to kill that. If we could have like gotten the Chandra back and used the Chandra to minus on the 4/4, we could have won. But we were pressured into killing the champion, and then the lieutenant was able to get the damage. Or we were pressured into killing one of them, and then couldn't kill the other one. Do we want to change anything for sideboarding for Game 3? Potentially like a Hazoret maybe over a Chalice. Chalice is really bad, but I still think I kind of like the almost no creatures plan. Just Stormbreath Dragon because they really can't interact with Stormbreath Dragon that well. Dragon also blocks all of their creatures really well because it's a 4/4 with protection from white. We're pretty much just like a pile of removal and bridges at this point, which I think is actually reasonable in this matchup. Yeah, maybe like a Slaughter Games or a Crumble to Dust should be, or one of the Rabble Masters should be another removal spell. Potentially a third Anger of the Gods, actually. Would be interesting. But we'll see how the rest of the league goes. I don't think this should be that awful of a matchup, but it does feel bad to have to leave in 3 Chalices. I would love to play first. This hand's a pretty easy shit back. We have the card we don't even really want in our deck, plus only 1 land, and we can't cast anything, so Mull. Ooh. So we need to draw another land for this hand to operate, and we really don't do anything until 3. Our opponent kept their 7. What do you guys think about this hand? I think if we keep it, we put the Stormbreath Dragon on the bottom of our library for sure. We need another land to really be able to do anything, but we also have like a decent amount of 2-drops we can draw into. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have like 12 2-drops that we can draw. I'm trying to think how a mold of 5 would look. We do draw 7 cards, but we're not really like turboing anything out turn 1 without 2 spirit guides in this matchup. I think I'm down to keep this off the back of Anger of the Gods. Yeah. Between Anger, and Bridge, I'm down to keep this hand. Hopefully we just like draw a couple lands and we'll be fine. What does everyone else think about this keep? I was really on the fence, but I'm just not sure if a 5 would be better. This insinuates they probably play Mayor of Everbrook is my guess. Typically that's when you see Razor Verge. Alright, that's the other land we needed, so one more land and we'll be locked up pretty well. If they play Thalia, we definitely want that 4th land. If they don't, we'll probably just Anger whatever they do unless they take Anger, in which case we can Bedevil or Bridge based off how we're feeling. Yeah, one more land and I think our hand's going to be great. We're definitely functional off this, but I'd really prefer another land so that way I know I can cast this Chandra or any of these spells through Thalia. Looks like a Kite Sail, yep. Probably a pretty easy Anger take, and then we'll probably just end up bedeviling the Kite Sail freebooter on their turn. We might even take the 1 to see what they play. So you can see our 5 opponent. We might actually, if they take this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Even Bridge isn't the worst play here, but I think I just want to hold on to the Bridge. I really want to Bedevil this and get whatever they take back. If they take the Bedevil, like, unless they take Anger, it's a pretty easy Anger turn in my opinion. Yeah, and they agree. I was going to Anger next turn if they didn't take it no matter what. So them taking it, I'm pretty okay with. I'll probably just Bedevil this Kite Sail at their end of turn. Unless they play like a Thalia's Lieutenant or something pre-combat. We'll see how everything goes. Land would be good. Any other castable spell is also fine, because we can just like use it to empty our hand. I'm down for either of those two things. Not sure what our opponent's thinking about here, maybe. Alright, that's the land. You did call it, Nate. We're actually going to play this Bloodstained Mire because I'm just going to fetch a Swamp for Blood Moons. And I'm going to pass. Again, I'm going to take the hit for 3 unless they play something pre-combat. In which case, I'm just going to Bedevil the Kite Sail Freebooter then. Alright, that is a Cavern of Souls that we'll probably name Human. Man, I'm good. Yeah, if they go for like... oh, another Kite Sail. Well, I think... we have to just go ahead and Bedevil this Kite Sail then. We'll take a hit for 3, which is fine. But then, like, no matter what they take, I'm feeling pretty well positioned. Red, black, black. Bedevil this Kite Sail. So now they can either... they'll probably have to take the Anger again. If they take Anger, we just get to Chandra minus on... probably the Champion, honestly. Unless they play an... yeah, no matter what, we're probably just going to Chandra minus on the Champion. We don't super care about the Anger. I'm pretty I'm just pretty happy with our position, honestly. If we draw a Blood Moon, I would probably play that over Chandra. They actually take Chandra. Interesting. Huh. So they're valuing the champion more than anything else, which is interesting. Especially since they know I have this bridge in hand. I guess they're just going to hopefully they're just hoping to race me. Using this champion here. Which is very well possible based off their hand. We take 5 here. We go to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We could put, well, no, 5. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go to 4 off of Mantis Rider. Which then we play Bridge and should be good unless they have a way to get rid of Bridge. So I think this is a pretty easy anger here. The Noble can get under Bridge if we play it. So can the Kite Sail Freebooter. So I'm just pretty happy with this Anger of the Gods. Yeah, I kind of like the Chandra grab, the more I think about it. But I could also see just taking the Anger again. Because then you keep your Kite Sail around. Because I'm going to minus on the champion to save life. So we go to 2 cards no matter what. Unless we draw a 2-drop. Meddling Mage. Okay. That's not bad. That might actually be enough for them. Especially if they have a follow-up. Oh, they named Chandra. Interesting. That's like a stone cold tell they have to... They have to have an answer to this bridge here. 2, 3, 1. So, I feel like they have an answer to this bridge and we're probably going to die, but we don't really have another good play outside of just bedeviling the champion here, which maybe is correct. Yep. Yeah, so we died. Pretty unfortunate. I think that's a pretty favorable matchup. They drew really well post-sideboard, and... If we... No, because then we just get hit for 2. Maybe the correct play is to bedevil the champion of the parish there. But I think it's pretty hard to win through that. But I guess we're just like not stone cold dead since I could easily read the Rex Sage. Interesting. Very interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think you'd make them have it? Or do you think I should have just bedeviled and hoped to get through there later? Yeah, this hand's fine. It's a little slow, but this deck doesn't have as much fast mana. And we have a Blood Moon effect and Anger plus a Planeswalker. So I'm pretty happy with this hand. Looks like we're against Green Black Rock, so I'm probably not going to be happy with this hand. Yep. Good old discard spells. Chooses Magus. That means they probably don't have an answer to it, and they don't have basics in their hand. K-Command's not a bad draw. We can always rebuy the Magus of the Moon. I'm going to just lead on this Bloodstained Mire, as we have double Swamp for if we ever draw a Blood Moon or if we play this Magus. And, ooh, Roberto. So I'm pretty fine just grabbing a Blood Crypt here. conserving our life totals a little bit. Okay, that's another land. Not great. They're unfortunately going to get a card off this Bob, but there's not really much we can do about it this turn. So we're just going to have to ship it back. Next turn, depending on what they do, we can either Anger or K-Command to kill the Bob and get back our Magus if it's K-Command, or just Anger to wipe their board. They hit a Fatal Push, which is semi-awkward if they have a way to revolt when we play the Magus. They attack for 2. Goyf's a 3/4, so that makes Anger kind of awkward. But again, they don't have a fetch land here, so... Ooh. Chalice isn't awful. I think we just want to stop their card draw, and we don't really have a way to kill this bot or this Goyf until Chandra next turn. But this actually grows the Goyf out of Chandra range. So I actually think the correct play here... Oh. Undo. I actually think the correct play here is to just Anger, because it doesn't grow the Goyf at all, and then we can kill Goyf with Chandra. So I actually like that play. I just don't want them stocking up on cards here. We can Kolaghan's Command back the Magus if we need to later on. Hopefully this isn't another Goyf. It's a Scooz. That's fine. Scooz does kind of make me want to wait on killing this Goyf again, though. Because our life total is a resource. And, well, drawing that other Chandra changes things, actually. Because we can just Chandra down the Scooz in a turn. So they can eat the Goyf, which puts this to 4. But then they don't have anything else to eat. If they don't go to eat, our turn gets really awkward because we do nothing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just go for the attempting to Chandra down both of their creatures in 2 turns. I think our eventual goal is to play this Chalice on 2. That should shut off most of their ways to get rid of it, as well as most of their threats. Yep. Oh, okay. So, they're probably going to attack the Chandra here, as they don't want us to have cards. Another Scooz. That stinks for us. This is the reason why the Chalice on 2 would have been very good. And potentially was the play last turn, but I just didn't want to be able to get beaten up so much. But Devil's actually a pretty good draw. So... We can't do everything. If we bedevil this Scooz, they can't grow this. They can grow this one. Which is fine because they can only grow it by 2. So I'm going to try to pass, and then if they attempt to eat my Magus, I'm just going to K-Command and get... I'm going to K-Command to get it back, plus kill this Scooz. Perfect. Oh, they're eating with this Scooz, which is still fine. So we're going to get back the Magus of the Moon and kill this Scavenging Ooze now, which saves our Bedevil for later and doesn't grow their Scooz now. So it's kind of like a waste on mana. If we draw land next turn, we can always go Magus Bedevil. And that should lock up this game pretty well. Okay, they drew a swamp, so it might not lock it up as much. Is this a Cletus? It is. So we're probably going to have to kill that Cletus before the Skoos. Yep, we're going to take 3 here. That's technically a land. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to bedevil this Cletus. Then we're going to use this Spirit Guide to play this Magus of the Moon. And then as long as they don't have a way to trigger Revolt, which they shouldn't outside of like a Spell Bomb maybe, they shouldn't be able to get rid of this Magus of the Moon. And then we can Chandra down the Skoos. Sure. Inquisition takes our Chalice, which I would have liked to have played. But that means they don't have any more plays. Lily of the Veil is actually pretty good, too. I think I like Chandra more, though. Because I don't want to discard Chandra. So we kill that. They still don't have black mana because of the Magus. We get in for 2 and pass. And we did it. Alright, that was a pretty good win for the deck. Yeah, they have some Ombos in the deck, but I think it's fine. Like, Skoos you can use to eat correctly with the Goyf. Cletus you obviously can't, but they're just both so powerful against Phoenix. Alright, so what's not great in this matchup? Master actually doesn't seem bad. Slaughter Games I don't think is good, neither with Crumble. I don't actually think Leyline is worth it against these kind of decks. The Blood Moons seem fine. The Rabble Masters are a debate. I don't think Anger is that good against them, even though it seemed fine there. K-Command, Bedevil, a Braid seems bad to me. I'm not big on Brutality either. I feel like it doesn't kill enough. So I'm thinking about running this. What do you guys think? It's very threat heavy. We have our Chalices as threats, which we can hopefully play as 2. We have the Storm Breaths, which actually aren't that great, but it is out of Fatal Push range. But it does die to Trophy. Same with Master of Cruelties. Our Chandras are great. Our Hazaret's great. Our Damnation seems really good. It seems a little awkward with Rabble Master, but I think we're fine with that. If we need to wipe their board that bad, Rabble Master's probably not doing that much work. The Bedevils, the K-Commands are return value. Spirit Guides help us go faster. Rabble Masters are good threats. Blood Moons are solid, but not insane. Where's the Magus of the Moon, actually? Oh, there it is. And our Lilianas, I think, are really good. We could call Meddling Mage Scooby Blue, but not really sure how on theme that is. Haste Flying is pretty decent. Yeah, I think I like this. We're really threat dense. I wouldn't mind the Brutalities, but they don't actually kill a lot. Like, they kill Bobs and Skoozes if they don't have mana to eat something. But I think it's just kind of more clunky than everything else in our deck right now. How do you guys feel about that? What do you think about that? Yeah, I think we're going to just go ahead and run this. I know the delay is kind of making this hard for you guys to interact with me, and I apologize. Hopefully we'll have that fixed on a later date. Our opponent will most likely choose to be on the play, as they did. This hand only has 2 lands and a bunch of 3, 4, and 5 drops. I'm pretty inclined to mulligan this hand. We don't have a super ton of early plays, but I also just feel like I'd rather have a third land in my hand right off the way. So I think I'm going to try mulliganing. Like, this hand seems fine. It's a little flooded, but I'd actually rather be flooded in this matchup than mana screwed. Because we're going to get Inquisition and stuff anyways. I'm going to go ahead and tuck a Swamp. I assume our opponent's going to lead on a discard spell. Thoughtseize this time, okay. Yep, feel free to take whatever you want, opponent. Probably between the Spirit Guide, Liliana, or Master of Cruelties. I'm not sure what I would take here. It really depends on how the context of their hand. If they don't have a removal for Master, they probably have to take it. Liliana is our best early play, so I could see taking it. And I could see taking Spirit Guide if you just want to buy time. But I think the Lily take is actually pretty good. We drew another Blood Crypt, which is kind of awkward. Because I want to play it out if we don't do something next turn. But I also don't want to let them know that it's one of the cards I drew. Goyf, that's a pretty big boy right now. We draw K Command, which doesn't do a whole lot here, unfortunately. But if they play a discard spell, I might just like shock discard them. Just so that way they can't take it off an Inquisition. Yeah, I actually like that. I like the sounds of that. We're going to just go Swamp Pass. It also saves information. So they don't know 2 cards as opposed to just 1. Lily of the Veil here. That's fine. Plus Lily. We're going to go ahead and probably just discard this Blood Crypt. I think it's the worst card in our hand currently. They discard Brutality. Goyf's a 3/4. He's going to get in there. We don't have many ways to deal with it, so we'll take it. Magus is pretty good here. I think I'm going to go ahead and play it. They can just Lily minus on it, actually. But then we get to keep our hand, and if we draw land, we can slam the Master of Cruelties after K commanding the Lily. So, yep. This game's going to be pretty hard to win through, I think. Our opponent had a very good start. Good clock that we couldn't deal with. Discard spell on 1. Planeswalker on 3. Interesting that they didn't have a play on 4. Okay, so we're going to hope to rip a land, and I think we're going to just do the same play as last time. Get back the Magus and shock something. This time being the Liliana of the Veil, though. Still hoping for that out of ripping a land to Spirit Guide out this Master of Cruelties. And we'll ship it back. It didn't shrink the Goyf at all, unfortunately. But that's fine. We just really wanted another threat back, and I think it was better than making them discard. So we're down to 9. They passed the turn, which means they have 3 spells in hand. We did draw that land, though. And I think we can actually afford to take a hit from this Master. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and cast this Chalice for 2. As it shuts off a lot of their removal spells for Master of Cruelties, as well as any of their answers to Chalice, outside of an Abrupt Decay. Okay, they had the Pulse. Yeah, they do run Pulse, actually, so maybe that play was incorrect, but it did draw out the Pulse, which was pretty good. We do go to 4, so if they have a way to kill this Master, we're dead, but... Ooh. Lily of the Veil is actually a really good draw here. Because it's an answer to that there Tarmogoyf. You, my friend, can sack a creature. The next turn we can Spirit Guide the Master, discard the Magus, and have Lily minus up to hopefully get to hit our opponent down to 1. If we draw land, we can always just cast Master, pitch the Spirit Guide. Dank Confidant is their play. Turn ships back to us. Ooh. I think I'm going to go ahead and make that Chalice play again. Because we go to 2, but we have the Lily minus available next turn. Oh, that's super, super bad. Super awkward there. I think we'll grab a mountain this time. Okay, so we have to just pass. We shouldn't be able to die here. There's not much they can play. They hit a Lily of the Veil. Ugh. So we need to draw land. That way we can cast Spirit Guide and Magus of the Moon to not die next turn. Yep. We have to just go ahead and discard the Master, unfortunately, because we have to play for the out that keeps us alive next turn. Really unfortunate that they actually had the Assassin's Trophy right there. Maybe it makes the Chalice play incorrect, but I'm not sure. It seems very hard for them to win if I land the Chalice and then get to play a creature. Yep, so unfortunately we're dead. We're going on to game 3, though. I don't think I really want to change anything up. They had their turn 1 interaction. We had not really a slow hand, honestly. I'm not really sure. They had the trophy and the pulse, as well as that Goyf that was beating us down pretty early. Brutality is still kind of a consideration in my head, but I'm not sure what brutality is better than. The awkward thing about the way we have our deck right now is we're literally mono 3 drops, so it's really hard to do something before turn 3. But I don't know how interactive any of our things are, or how good any of our things are that we would be doing before turn 3 anyways. So I don't actually think Blood Moon is that great in this matchup either, but I just don't think we have anything better. I think one of the merits to the mono red version of this is that it plays a lot faster due to the Gemstone Caverns, and the 4 to 5 rituals you play in the main deck typically. That is one thing I'm noticing. This deck feels very, very slowish. What do you guys think? Do we want to change anything for on the play, or do we just want to try running it back? I think this might be one of our harder matchups. I think if they were a little bit greedier of a GBX deck between like Abzan or Jund, it could potentially be a better matchup. But I think access to Trophy, Abrupt Decay, and just a buttload of basics does probably make this matchup a little difficult. Although our threats are pretty good against them because not many of them can be Fatal Pushed, or Fatal Pushed very easily for that matter. Like Rabble Master, you need Revolt. Hazaret, Master of Cruelties, and Stormbreath can't be Fatal Pushed. Neither can Chandra or Lily of the Last Hope. Alright. I think we're going to run it back and just hope that we get on the luckier side this time. Okay. So this hand can play out one of two ways. We can either Chalice on 1, or we can try to Chandra on 2. I'm definitely keeping this hand. This hand's very powerful. I think we're going to go for the old Chalice of the Void on 1, though. That way, our opponent can't make us discard anything. So, it null and voids our opponent's turn 1. So, it buys us more time, and it also makes sure that they don't interact with our hand. So we'll probably be playing like a turn 3 Chandra if we draw a land here. Okay. Bridge, not a bad draw. That's something we can Spirit Guide out if needed. We're just going to play this Blood Crypt, tap and pass, and hopefully draw land to either Chandra or play a Bridge or Bedevil, depending on what seems like it works the best. They're fetching their basics out. I'm not surprised. Okay, so they have their 2 mana online, which is kind of the reason why I was saying I'm not sure how good Blood Moon is, but I don't really think we have much in our sideboard for this matchup either. Oh, they don't have a play. That's good for us. Ooh. So I don't want to just not do anything. And most of their removal spells for Rabblemaster cost 1. So we're just going to try to get a clock going. And hope it will be good enough. Hopefully we'll draw some lands in the future, but I like playing this Rabblemaster out here. Lily isn't good against it. Thoughtseize doesn't work into our Chalice of the Void. Tarmogoyf does work against our Rabblemaster, though. Come on, land. Dang it, that's unfortunately not a land. We really wanted a land so that way we could bedevil this Goyf. Unfortunate. So, but we do have these tokens which are going to be the ones attacking. We're not going to attack with Rabblemaster. So our opponent's going to lose a life and block with the Goyf, I assume. Yep. And we're just going to ship it back to them, hopefully drawing a land here soon. Our hand is very good if we happen to draw a land at some point. That was an odd play from our opponent. This actually lets us kill their Tarmogoyf with Bedevil, which is pretty sweet. So I'm actually fine with this. That's another Goyf, which stinks. But we're going to go ahead and Bedevil this one. Alright, there's a land, so we don't really have anything we want to buy back. They have 4 cards in hand. We could always attack with Rabblemaster and get a K command out to kill the Goyf. I don't actually hate that line. And then we can buy back the Rabblemaster. Yeah, I actually think we're going to go for that. So if they choose to block the Rabblemaster, we get to kill the Goyf and get back our Rabblemaster. Perfect. So we let this happen. Damage is marked on Goyf. We choose to return a creature. This has been the mode we've used all 3 times, and it's been really good each time, actually. Get back a creature, shock something, and pass it back to them. The 3rd K command would be pretty good in this matchup. Ooh, Tireless Tracker. Would really like a land to be able to kill that tracker before it can get going too crazy. They just go ahead and crack the clue. Interesting. I guess it does get it out of Kolaghan's command range. Oof. I think we're actually going to play this Blood Moon out because it stops them from Field of Ruining or being able to get multiple clues off fetch lands. And we don't actually have to attack with our goblins this way, as if we played the Rabblemaster. So we just get to hold our goblins back for now, pass the turn back to our opponent. They had an Overgrown Tomb, so it didn't actually stop that, but we really need a land. We really need a red source here for Chandra, so we can kill this Tireless Tracker. Lily of the Veil, that's fine. I think we're actually going to discard the Rabblemaster. I'd rather have the Bridge. in case they... Do they attack? They don't. Oof, we drew another Chalice, unfortunately. Man, we really needed that land. They might be able to get the tracker out of Chandra range, and then we're in a bit of trouble. But I think we just have to play the Ensnaring Bridge and pass. Hopefully they don't have an answer to it. Or if they don't, they did have the land figured. They've drawn like 2 extra cards each turn with it. We've gotten pretty unfortunate to not draw lands this game. Yeah, I'll gladly sack a Goblin. That's no problem. That's an interesting choice for them, actually. Alright, our opponent is real deep in their green-black rock deck. Obnixilis. Haven't seen him since Standard. Yep, they have the trophy, of course. This does get us our 4th land, and they didn't crack the clue, though. So, there is a bright side. We get to kill the Tireless Tracker. Then we just have to deal with their Planeswalkers. I think I'm fine taking this hit because I want the Goblin to hopefully eventually pressure them. Storm Breath is really good at pressuring Planeswalkers, it turns out. So we're going to get rid of this Tireless Tracker. And then I don't want to sack my Goblin, so we're going to go and just attack Liliana. Lily the Last Hope. Looks like they're just super friends. Good old Abzan Super Friends, apparently. Or green-black Super Friends. Yeah, it's not looking very good here. We're going to just discard this Chalice. I think we need to get lucky, draw land, and hope Storm Breath can carry us. Oof. The Goyf. Yeah. And I think that's about it. I don't think we're going to be able to come back from this unless... We can use Chandra for mana, actually. So we use Chandra for mana, play the Storm Breath, kill the Lily, they minus the Ob on it, hit a... Yeah, I mean... I don't think we're going to really win this game, but I guess we can play out these last turns and see what happens. So we have to kill this Lily of the Veil because it's the only one that we can kill that kills our Storm Breath. Then Obnix is probably just going to -3 on it, and they're just going to get back another Goyf. And then I assume we're just dead. They have a spell, too. Oh, they're cracking a clue. Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of my problem with the prison decks in Modern. Even the mono-red one. The mono-red one can play a little bit faster, at least. Yeah, there's nothing that can come back from that. Yeah, like, a Damnation wasn't going to save us that game. So, unfortunate, we're 0-2. Yeah, the problem with this deck is it just feels kind of slow for Modern as a prison deck. Like, you really want to be able to lock your opponent out pretty fast. And that's, like, the pluses of War Prison or Mono-Red Prison. So... yeah, I'm not sure about adding the color to this deck. I'm not sure if it actually helps out. With London being this weekend, what do you guys think about the new Mulligan rule? Do you think it's actually going to stick? On the draw, I think this hand's fine. We have 2 brutalities to buy us a lot of time. Then we have 2 good 3-drops and a good 4-drop. This deck feels more like red-black mid-range than prison. And I almost wonder... I don't know when they came out with that art on Moto, but I need it in paper right now. That is beautiful, and give it to me, Wizards. I want it. I want it for the exact deck our opponent's playing. That's one of our worst matchups, I think. And I want Kitty Cat Ancient Stirrings. And I did not want to draw an Anger against Tron. I think they kept a pretty bad Tron hand, though, if their turn 1 is Ancient Stirrings. It's probably a turn 4 Tron hand, but typically you want to mulligan at least the first 7 with that. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the London rule... I think the London rule is too powerful. I think it promotes a lot of degeneracy, which I think shouldn't be in Modern in general. And I just think the rule doesn't help. Bedevil's actually pretty good against Tron if we can draw a land. I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to do both modes just because I don't want this Anger in my hand. So we can discard this Anger. We hit their Ancient Stirrings, but they unfortunately just have Tron with Karn and Wormcoil. So this isn't looking very good. We can hopefully draw like a Blood Moon to help us in this game. Yeah, we need like a Blood Moon, but we need a land. So I think we're pretty not alright. So they're either going to play Wormcoil or Karn. And I guess I would want them to hopefully minus on my Lily. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Last Hope to hopefully bait the Karn minus on it. So we can then bedevil the Karn. Yeah, I think they're just testing things. Like, I think if you're only looking at Standard and Draft, I think the London Mulligan is great. Okay, they went for the bait. So now we know there are 3 cards in hand, I believe. And I think we just get Ulamogged next turn. Well, hopefully I'm wrong on their hand. Because if I'm wrong on their hand, we get a turn. We have to just bedevil the Karn. We can't let it just eat the Blood Moon. I'm fully ready to concede once they cast an Ulamog, though. Or, yeah, an Ulamog. I actually don't think the Blood Moon decks have that great of a Tron matchup. Okay, maybe we're wrong. Oh, maybe they're realizing. Yep. Sure. Thanks? Question mark? I think that was a mistake on our opponent's end, but I'm gonna take it and just play this Blood Moon. I assume they get a forest here. So that was like one of our outs, was them just not playing Ulamog. I think it was a pretty easy like Ulamog double Stone Rain there. So it's just like a second Wormcoil, and then hopefully our Ensnaring Bridge can buy us enough time. That's what it looks like. Alright, well, our opponent might have given us a chance here. So we're going to play Ensnaring Bridge. And we're actually just going to pass. There's no reason to use the Brutality right now. There's a lot of reasons to use it later on. Okay. They're not grabbing extra forest, which is interesting to me. As most of you guys know, I'm like a pretty avid Tron player, so I know both sides. And yeah, this is kind of the reason why I held on to the brutality. We're just going to plus the Chandra for mana here. Cast this with 2 modes. We're going to choose to drain them and make them discard something. They just have Ulamog, Sanctum of Ugin, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that's 8 mana, but hopefully they just don't get to play Magic. That's their goal. Alright. Chalice is a decent draw. 1, 2. I'm actually gonna plus for mana again, because one of their outs is Oblivion Stone. They're most likely out at this point. So if I Chalice on 3, sure, it shuts off some of our spells, but our main win is just with this Chandra at this point. And we just need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just need to try to keep them off blowing up our board, which is them either drawing 2 lands or... Okay. So they're a land away from casting this Ulamog. Is this like a main deck Thragtusk? Or just another Wormcoil? Sure. So their only card is Ulamog. So I just need them to not draw another land for the rest of the game. It's easy. He says, hopefully. We do not want to cast this other Chandra, it turns out. We do, however, I think, want to cast this other Blood Moon. Because... Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an actual idiot. I should have held that for Chandra. That was really bad on my end. I forgot about the Chalice on 3, because that's such a weird number to Chalice on. It could have just been an extra, like, 4 points of damage, which might matter this whole game. So I'm super sorry about that punt. That could have been, like, one more spell for Chandra. Oh my god, that was bad. I think I need this Chandra in play to help draw spells. I don't think we can just ultimate it here. Yeah, I think I gotta go for a plus on this Chandra one more time. And then pass. So if we had that Blood Moon, that'd be 4, 8. We'd be like 3 spells off from killing them at this point. Oh, they drew the land. Which is really unfortunate. We just die. I mean, we played the best we could. Our opponent played horribly, and it just didn't matter. That's like one of the things about Tron is sometimes it doesn't matter like how bad you play or how good your opponent plays. I don't think the Storm Breaths are good. They don't kill fast enough. The Damnation and Ley Lines don't seem good. Crumble seems good. Slaughter Game seems good. Oh, nope. We definitely want Blood Moon. Definitely want Blood Moon. Last Hope seems really slow. Rabble Master's a faster kill, so I'm in for it. Brutality seems, even though it was kind of good, I think it's pretty horrid in this matchup. And then we need to cut 3 more cards. Maybe this actually isn't that good, because it's just kind of used to name like an out after we have them locked out already. So I think Slaughter Games might actually be pretty bad. And then... Oh, Anger's actually like really bad. Never mind. We'll put a Slaughter Games back in the deck. I like K-Command for blowing up their early artifacts. I like Bridge for locking them out like we did that game. Spirit Guide helps us go faster. Blood Moons are great. Rabble Master kills fast. Lily pressures their hand. Braid gets rid of artifacts. Crumble of Dust kills their lands. Chandra kills them and draws us cards. Hazoret kills pretty fast. Same with Master. And a Chalice on 1 can actually stop them from being able to... Slaughter Games is okay. I like... What do you think the other Slaughter Games is better than? I think that's the other question. What is the second Slaughter Games better than that we already have in the deck? Because, like, I think Slaughter Games is fine, but I think everything else is better. Everything else, I think, locks them out better and kills them faster. Like, maybe over a K command, but I think K command's better because it can try to stop them from Tron earlier. I think we need Master. Master's, like, if we lock them out and play a Master, Master just kills them. Like, they go to 1, we have a Chandra in play, they die. They go to 1, we have a Hazoret in play, they die. They go to 1 with a Rabble Master, they die. I think we're going to leave the Master in. I could see it being wrong, but I personally don't like cutting it. This hand is absolute gas. We're going to Chalice of the Void them on 1. Follow it up with a Blood Moon and a Rabble Master. This is the type of hand that beats Tron. So we will go Swamp, pitch a Spirit Guide, play a Chalice on 1 to lock them out of their Nature's Claims. If they are smart like me, when I play Tron, they'll have a Seal of Primordium in their sideboard, which can still get rid of this Chalice. That's why I personally go with a Seal over 4 Nature's Claims. A backup Chalice is really good, and I'm actually going to just go ahead and play that. I'm going to just play a backup Chalice of the Void on 1. We could play it out on another number later, but we have so much to do, I just kind of want to lock them out of anything. Now, if they do play that Seal like I was talking about, it doesn't work. They have a Sylvan Scrying, which is fine. We're going to just play a Blood Moon and then clock them with Rabble Master. I might actually play Rabble Master first because they don't have Tron. Anything they play, they can play otherwise. Yeah, I'm actually just going to play Rabble Master first and start pressuring them. We're going to get our goblins on. There's nothing they can't cast through Blood Moon at this point other than, like, ooh, a piece of candy. If I don't have to show them that, I don't actually want to. Because they might not have Warping Wail in post-sideboard. And if they don't bring in Warping Wail, this can get them. So I'm going to attempt to not have to cast the Crumble to Dust. If it looks like we're in a position where we need it, I'll obviously cast it. What do they have here? A Thought-Knot Seer, maybe? No, it can't be. Ballista for 2, sure. So that's going to buy them a lot of time. I still would like to not crumble because I would rather hit like their Sanctum of Ugin if they ever play it. A Braid's a fine draw. I would like something that kills them though. Hobgoblin go. I agree. Lily of the Veil's pretty good. I'll go ahead and play this. Plus her up. So as much as I talked about not showing them the crumble, I'm going to actually discard it here because the Abrade can be useful against an Oblivion Stone. They discard Chromatic Sphere. We'll hit them for 2. They don't have anything again. It's not the worst. It's a clock. So 7, 6, 5, 4-3, 2-1, 0 dead. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 dead. Okay. Spirit Guide does speed up our clock. So we're actually going to cast the Mana Monkey here. Classic prison play of casting a Simian Spirit Guide. Then we're going to discard this Abrade. And then pass it to them. Okay. Worm Coil's annoying, but we can slowly work our way through it. That actually speeds up the way we get through Worm Coil Engine. So we get to bedevil it. They get their tokens. We minus Lily on them. We pass the turn to them, and then we get to minus Lily on the token again and hit them for 4. Yeah, this is the problem with Tron. Like, we had a fast clock, but it wasn't fast enough. Oh, the new set's on... I didn't realize the new set was on Modo. Ooh, if I'd have known that, we might have been playing something different. That's going to be an issue. I don't actually know how we can beat this Ugin. Now that we bedeviled the Worm Coil Engine. Like, they just get to make 2/2s every turn that draw them cards when it leaves the battlefield. This is going to be tricky. We need, like, another bedevil. They choose to attack. Okay, we're not going to block. Oh, wait, was it going at Lily? Shit. I forgot to check where the attack was going. My bad. Gosh, I think we're going to lose this game. This deck has not felt good. I am interested to see how good Ugin looks, though, because I've thought about trying out Ugin in the new Karn. I don't really want to play a Chalice out on 2, I don't think. I don't think it stops enough. So I guess we just go ahead and attack him with the Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah. He just blocks to draw a card. Yeah, I think this deck is too slow for a prison deck. And I also think prison decks generally don't have that good of a Tron matchup. And I don't really think, like... Maybe I was supposed to crumble the dust earlier. But it just didn't seem like we needed it. But maybe that was incorrect. I think Karn Lattice is a little greedy for Modern, but I think it's cute. Yeah, we're probably just packing up to like anything here. Okay, they just choose not to play anything. That's fine. So we're going to land from Chalicing on 3. I don't think this deck would have played anything from the new set, but I didn't realize the new set was on Arena yet. It also, the Mana Traders might also just not have the new cards yet. I don't know if Bluetron will, like, I don't know. It just still seems like, I think Karn is good. I really think Karn is good, the new Karn. I think it with Mycosynth Lattice is a little too cute, even for Bluetron. It's just so much mana. Well, I guess it's the same as Mindslaver. It's 2 less than Mindslaver Loop. So maybe they will play it. You're right, actually, the more I'm thinking about it. But I don't know if it is particularly that good. So we're trying our best here. Like I said, not crumbling might have been greedy. But 1, I didn't realize the new set was on Moto. And 2, I felt like not having them have a counter to it and potentially getting to steal game 3 was better. But maybe I was just supposed to focus more on this game. No, it's only 2 less, right? Because Karn's 4, Maiko is 6, that's 10. I guess it's 3 less total. Because the Mindslaver's 6, the activation's 4, then you need 2 lands plus Academy. So that's a total of 13 versus 10. So it's 3 mana, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm forgetting a mana somewhere. And yeah, we're just dead, unfortunately. Really unimpressed with this deck. I personally think if I were to just play Prison in Modern, I would either play Were Prison or the Mono Red Prison deck. By the way, Nate, feel free to tell me how it's 4 mana, or unless it is 3. Let me know before I get off, because I actually want to know now. Yeah, 13 versus 10. Because Maiko's 6 mana, correct? Yeah. Yeah, I just think the black cards are a little cute in this deck. I think they make this deck a little too fair and mid-rangey, as opposed to being a Prison deck like it's supposed to be. So I think if people are trying this deck out, I'd probably just recommend playing the Mono Red Prison, or switching over to something like the War Prison deck if you really want to play Prison in Modern. But that all being said, I'm going to be getting off here. And before I get off, I want to make sure I recommend you guys to our sponsor once again. That's momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com. They're super great. That you can buy just about anything from there, including basic lands, persistent petitioners, or skewer the critics. Maybe there's a Modern deck out there that plays any of these cards that was probably better than this Prison deck we played. Sorry if I offend anybody that plays this deck. It just did not feel great to me, and it really hasn't looked great to me, but I thought I'd give it a try. A friend was thinking about building it, and I knew it was doing well here and there, so never hurts to try new things sometimes. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry for the disappointing video, but feel free to hop down in that description below to check out our Twitch stream for the next time that I stream, or any of the other guys on our stream team stream. We have a great stream team. We're on 7 days a week now, which is awesome. We have every format, which I'll get to in a minute. Everyone, including YouTube and Twitch people, make sure you like us on Facebook. Give us a follow on Twitter at MomsBasementMTG. You can see all of Josh's banter. It's always a good time. And for you guys in Twitch still, check out our YouTube channel for leagues that will probably end better than this one, in formats such as Legacy, Modern, Standard, Vintage, and we've recently included both Pauper and Commander. So we have pretty much every format for any content you can enjoy. On top of that, I would still appreciate if you guys gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @RichardTMTG. I talk about Magic, League of Legends, my other hobbies, success stories, bad beat stories, and anything if you guys actually want to talk to me on there. Feel free to hit me up. Once again, that's @RichardTMTG. And I am coming to a close with this video. I hope you all had a great time. Sorry the deck disappointed. It was still fun. I always love streaming, and I always appreciate you guys being here. One more shout out to Rebel Scum. I super appreciate the subscribe. All of you guys should subscribe too. Nonetheless, though, I still love you guys. Everybody have a great night. I'm out.